Hi guys, Spinosaurus Reviews here, and today I'm going to be doing another review on another Haolonggood 1 to 35 scale sauropod. This time it is the Ampelosaurus from I think 2023. So yeah, this is only the second scientifically accurate Ampelosaurus figure out there, I think. I know Mattel do one, but again, that's not scientifically accurate. The only other one is the collecta one, which I have just here. And you can just see that for a size comparison. If you were thinking of getting this figure, that's how it scales with the collecta version. And I do actually prefer this version, and I'll get to why in a sec. But yeah, really nice model. Let's get into it. So the first issue for me is the head. So just looking at the head here, nice concave here to the head, really nice sort of mouth detail, no teeth sculpted in on this one, and no beak either. You can see the nostrils there, really nice glossy eye. This one's done in a sort of greeny yellow. And the issue with the head is, to me it seems like more of a sort of diplodocus head, sort of like an Ampelosaurus diplodocus would have had, not a titanosaur, which Ampelosaurus was. If we have a look at the collecta's head, you can see it's got that blunt skull, really looks like a titanosaur, with the teeth showing as well in that one. Whereas, yeah, this one looks a bit too elongated for me, to be honest. Obviously, the only issue is with sauropods is we most never find the skull. So a lot of the times we'll just find fragments, which a lot of the times if you find the skull, you can depict a lot of things. You can get pretty much what it looked like, and you can get a true length estimate. If you don't have the skull, you can't really do that. I think we have fragments of an Ampelosaurus skull, but not a full skull. But yeah, to me it just looks a little bit more like a diplodocus should than an Ampelosaurus. And that's one of my issues with it. I've only really got two. One's been the skull. Again, a little bit of a short neck, which we know Ampelosaurus had. Really nice coloration into the neck. We start off with this sort of umber colour, sort of burnt orange, and it gradually goes down into a sort of light brown into this really nice green, which is why I got it, and it bands all the way into the tail till we get to that sort of umber colour again. We've got white banding going all the way down the figure as well, and this is where the osteoderms and scutes start. And as we go down the neck, they gradually get bigger and bigger until we get into these really mad looking spikes, which we know this titanosaur had lots of. Obviously in larger titanosaurs it's very speculative, but in this guy and Sauropod, we know that it was pretty highly dermal armoured. Different sort of osteoderms here, then spikes, very symmetrical, very nice. But to be honest, the reason, again, I prefer the spiking on the collecta Ampelosaurus, because I think they've done it quite lightly armoured on shoulders and on the flanks, which is really where this guy would have been most vulnerable. They've kind of done it very heavily armoured from the top. They've kind of left the armour on the flanks of the animal, whereas collecta have done flank armour and then armour going down the neural spine there, all the way down the tail also, whereas this guy stops at the base of the tail. But other than that, it's done really, really well. Again, these are solid plastic, well, moulded plastic models, and these spikes are very, very sharp. to the touch, they are actually quite sharp, so definitely not a model for children. Definitely aimed at the older market, as it does say on every box, 14 plus. I think maybe that's a bit of a stretch. You could probably get away with younger, but not much. Because again, if there's a kid running around with this and hits off those spikes, that is going to hurt very much. Nice weight to it. It's not too heavy, not too light either, and it's not too big. So it's another one of these scaled sauropods that you can very easily display without any issues. Yeah, nice long whip tail, pretty standard for most sauropods, to be honest. With this sort of brown patching going throughout the body as well. Sort of. The only downside to these Haolonggood models I've noticed is there's no cloacas, which Collecta and Safari kind of pride themselves on including, but these guys don't really seem to have them. I mean, there's a slit there which a cloaca would be, but I don't know if that's just like a manufacturing thing. No, that is a cloaca. Yeah, okay, so they have included it on this one. That's good. And again, the folds in the skin in reaction to what this dinosaur is doing. The way it's walking, you can see the fold and the skin reacting to that. Ooh. We have our first sauropod without a thumb claw, which is nice to see. Because again, in Titanosaurs, the manus, which is the hand, was way more fully formed than it was in earlier macronarian sauropods, which are their closest relatives. So things like Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus would have still had a thumb spike, but when you got millions of years down the line and you're getting into Titanosaurs, they shouldn't have a thumb spike or be nearly lacking one. They should have a tiny one. Collecta's does include this thumb spike, but again, it's fairly small. There's only two Safari sauropods I can think of that don't have this thumb spike, and that is their new 2024 Saltosaurus and their 2018 Malawisaurus are also lacking this thumb spike, so that's a nice bit of accuracy there. And then all the toes are scaled over, which they should be. Titanosaur's legs were very pillar-like, so they should be just like elephant legs, very pillar-like. The hind limbs, again, the last toe is scaled over, with the first three being clawed, as it should be. Really nice detail there. And obviously, just the only trademark on these guys is Haolonggood, and that's it. There's no species name or anything like that of what you see on Collecta or Safari. But yeah, that is the Haolonggood Ampelosaurus. I got this model pretty much like all my others from Everything Dinosaur. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Grab one while you can. Obviously you can see on the box there's two colour variants. I went for the green. You do have a brown variant as well. I just preferred the green for a bit of colour. And yeah, other than the head, I'd say that's my main issue with them. The spikes is neither here nor there. It's not really an issue. I would have just liked to see some more sort of armour on the flanks. But other than that, really nice model, nice size, nice weight, looks great on a shelf, scales well with the other 1:35 sauropods, obviously. Doesn't scale well with Collecta figures, but you know, this is where they're filling that hole in the market with the sauropods that people want. Unfortunately, on the bigger sauropods, not a lot of people are going to be able to display them properly, so I can't see a lot of people buying them. A lot of people will probably sway more towards this, because you can play with this one. You know, it's flexible, it's smaller, so it's easier to display, and to be honest, aesthetically, I prefer the collecta one, to be honest. But size-wise, I definitely prefer this. But yeah, that's my review on that. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.